I'm Stephanie Carney, and I wanted to do a video introducing my personal creative project. So what I did for my personal creative project was a self-portrait, and I did it in sort of memory or tribute to the mass shooting victims at the club in Orlando that targeted the LGBT community. This was a really difficult project for me because I felt like there was almost too many options. When I looked at the instructions for the assignment, it was very open-ended, and so I had thought about doing a bunch of different things. Obviously, because I have a background in art, painting or drawing seemed kind of like logical options to me, but since it asked that I do something different than anything I'd ever done, I was afraid that might be a little bit too easy. I also considered doing a children's book at one point, but that's not something I'm particularly familiar with, so that one kind of conflicted in a way with fluency and flexibility. I wasn't sure I could do too much with that. I had some frustrations along the way. I just moved to Wichita on Tuesday of this week, so I was trying to do kind of part of the personal creative project in Virginia where I lived, and then figure out how to travel with stuff that I needed to Wichita and how I would get all that worked out. And then I had some other challenges. I'm a little bit sick right now. I got sick, I think, Wednesday this week. So I was trying to get stuff finished up, and then also being sick didn't really help that much. Overall, I think I'd like my self-portrait to look a little bit more like me and have it be a little bit more realistic, but I'm pretty happy with the way that it came out. In viewing the Sternberg video on theories of intelligence, I think for this project I needed to use all three to some degree. Analytical really came into play when I was breaking down the components of the project and the requirements for it and figuring out whether or not I was hitting all of those. Creative, I think, came because I was making the drawing, and I wanted to try new things with the drawing. So one of the things I tried to do creatively was mixed media, where I used pencil and then also colored pencil, and I also used my left hand instead of my right hand to draw. I'm naturally right-handed, so I was trying to use my non-dominant hand to do it, which I think is part of why I felt like it could have been more realistic. And then practical, so in doing it with my left hand, I kind of had to teach myself how to do things over again and how to really look at what I was doing and break it down into simpler shapes and components. And I had to really think about what I was doing. I was almost teaching myself how to do all the things that I already know how to do right-handed. So it illustrates something that I've never done before, in that I've never done a serious drawing with my left hand. I can only think of one other time that I've ever even tried to draw anything with my left hand, and it was really just like a sketching warm-up. It wasn't for a finished product. It's something that I've done before in a different way, because I've obviously done self-portraits. I've done a number of them, but I've never done one that I can think of anyway that was mixed media, and I've also never done one that was related to anything LGBT, and that was a big deal for me because that's something that kind of plays into my identity, but not something that I generally tend to publicize. So that was kind of different. And then the unique kind of touch to it was that it was a tribute to the shooting victims, and so I have their names in the background, which is obviously unique to this project. It's not something that's typically in my portraits. I think it demonstrated for me the most, probably, with fluency, was for like as far as growth and creativity in this project. Fluency, I had drawing skills and technique. I'm pretty familiar with those things, and so it kind of felt like something I had fluency in, I guess. And flexibility, I used my non-dominant hand, which was kind of different. Originality, it was a personal take on a tragedy, and it was personal to my identity. And then I used some sort of like risk-taking a little bit with mixed media and colored. The eyes especially was a little bit of a risk with the color because I wasn't sure how they were kind of come out. And then left hand again was kind of a risk there. So that's what I've got. I hope you guys like it.